Been a tough old year for the home side, the Seagulls. Just the 3 wins. And we are underway. Canberra, I think, just have a little too much size for what is a pretty small side, the Eagles. Raiders first use of the footy, playing it to the hillside, the far side. Kyle Madden. Good back row, this Canberra Raiders outfit. Jack Williams, Jack Murchie and Jared Toot. Bailey Hartwig in 14, the starting dummy half in place of Zach Wolford. He found Murchie nicely on that far side. Here is Toot. He's been really good, very strong for Brett White and the Green Machine the last couple of weeks. Danny Baderis, they didn't really ask too many questions of the Manly defence in that opening set, but big pass mark.
Absolute big tick. That's a great set from Canberra to start the game and, you know, force the issue down here. And I'm sure the next, a big set of defence. And then that just backs up that good attacking set. So a really good start from the Raiders.
Talking about those back rowers, Williams, Murchie and Toot, with one of the Canberra Raiders' most loyal servants and finest back rowers, Alan Tongue, pre-game, and the former skipper with big raps on these back 3 in the scrum.
He's got a big smile on his face, Tungy. What a great year the Raiders have had.
Been a while coming. It hasn't been a great year for the Canberra Raiders in first grade, and can they continue that with a victory here over the Eagles? A little bit later on. There is the great man, Alan Tongue, with Donny Ferner, the CEO. What a job he's done. I know a lot of the raps go to Ricky Stewart, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But Don Ferner, as CEO, a great rugby league name, father and brother, both in the game as well. And he's done an outstanding job as Manly look to the right-hand side, not afraid to throw the ball and play an expansive game. A great tackle there. Jack Murchie, really aggressive around the hips. Playing some midfield footy here and doing so with some power, the Eagles. That is also a very good set. 5th and final tackle. Good. Gain of 51 metres. Oh, and the Raiders forced to make a play at it. Thomas Cronin, and it was a case of should I, shouldn't I, and he was forced to.
Yeah, the obvious thing there was the ruck speed of Manly's. It was pretty slow compared to Canberra's, but they got a good kick in the end, and they're going to D up really well here, and it's not a bad start from those guys as well.
This is Harry Van Dartel. We spoke to Chad Randall prior to the game, and he said respectfully to my players, they've probably got a little too much class for us. So as a result, our urgency and our attitude, that's what it's all about today. And he'd be pretty happy with the energy they're showing early on.
Yeah, it is a danger game for Canberra. The longer this game goes and it's a tighter game, you know, that the pressure's obviously going to be felt by the Raiders. But if they can stay in the game, Manly, I think they can fancy themselves for the back end.
Here is Wright, goes round Sebastian Chris in the white headgear there. Lucas Price coming in for his second touch of the game. They're winning this little arm wrestle in the opening exchanges. Wide to Nico Hines. Simone Tufui. Over the 30-metre line. Fanu looks to the right and goes to Jaden Tarrant. That's him in 10, who, along with Tufui, signed the job of control in the middle of the field. Darting out a dummy half. Musi Fanu again. Out to the left, Nico Hines. Right, over the top. And forward pass. There was a touch in the middle. Testing the Raiders. They look good there, the Eagles.
They did, yeah. Funa had a nice 3-on-2. He just didn't execute it. He probably just need to square up a little bit, and that's a shame that it did go astray, because that was a definitely try opportunity.
Now it's time to roll up the sleeves for the Canberra Raiders. Toot with a slow play, the ball back to Hartwig. On to Foster. Through the hands he goes. Just looking a little wide here. We found William Samuels returning from a quad tear today. Thomas Cronin returning from a knee injury in the first penalty of the game. It goes to the Raiders and in really good field position.
Yeah, that was a flop by Tarrant. Just came in, not needed. So they're in a bit of good ball shape here now, the Canberra Raiders.
Our refs today, Adam Cassidy and Chris Treneman, two of the Holden Cup's leading officials. There's Toot. Hartwig in at dummy half. He's got some talent, this young fella. Just hasn't been getting the minutes leading into the finals that Brett White really wanted him to have. As a result, he's starting with Zach Wolford from the bench. Zeke Foster offering opportunities both sides of the ruck, both sides of the ball. As a result, the defensive line was stuck very much on their heels. Once again, Foster. He finds Murchie. Strong set with the football. Equally as strong without here for the Eagles. Logan Spander across field, goes back to Will Samuels.
This right edge of the Eagles is getting a bit of work at the moment.
Aren't they? And that continues. Last play, grubber through. Beautifully weighted from Zeke Foster. Well read. Oh, that young man, Lucas Price, on the wing as well.
Yeah, they showed their hand there, the Raiders. They obviously think that they can expose a few areas of the right edge there of the Eagles. So we'll see what they can come up with this set. But, you know, there's a few tired faces out there with the Manly boys at the minute.
You played your football, Danny, with one of the greatest kickers of the football we've ever seen, in Matthew Johns, as well as his brother Andrew, who went all right. The other bloke who was obviously phenomenal. What these young kids can do, kicking from short range now, depending on where they strike the ball, how they strike the ball, with what side of the foot, as we just saw from Zeke Foster, astonishing.
I think we saw another one on Thursday night, if not the best, in Jonathan Thurston. Right? The way he kicks, the way he turns the pressure is phenomenal. And the way he turns it for Queensland and the Cowboys week in, week out is awesome.
Playing to the right-hand side. Spander back into Cronin. Looking for some room straight through the middle. Young fullback. They're short. That far side of the field, the Eagles. And as a result, the Raiders score first. Jack Murchie. He's shown us some genuine power running in the opening couple of sets. And there was some power running with the added incentive of 4 points on the end of it.
I tell you what, everyone talks about the playmakers of every team, but your team needs two really good back rowers that can run hard and direct with good leg speed. And he definitely seems to have that at the moment, Murchie, and some good things ahead for him for a career point of view. So, yeah, the back rowers of the team, you saw one last night in Gillette as well, but the way they can play in 80 minutes, you know, that every team needs a couple of good ones.
9 for the season. Bailey Hartwig, I think, is going to take over the goal-kicking duties. Bailey Hartwig from Zach Wolford, one of the better strikers in the under-20s competition, Zach Wolford. Perfect start for the Raiders, 5 from 5. But a majority of the football, not necessarily in good ball area. They've been forced to do the hard work and get the ball out of their own backfield, but they've done it successfully. They got piggybacked upfield with a penalty.
Everything's going to plan for the Raiders at the minute. Maybe the Eagles need to try something a little bit different and try and get possession somehow, a short kick every now and then, or something that could get the rhythm out of the Raiders at the minute.
No good with the kick, Bailey Hartwig, and he's not happy with it. 4 points to nil after 9 minutes, 8th versus 16th on the competition ladder. The Raiders season, in a nutshell, looks like this: 12 wins, 10 losses, and a high majority of those 12 wins have been at the back end of the season. They started with a win over Penrith in round 1 in the 80th minute of the game. But from that point up until about round 12 or 13, there was not a great deal to smile about for the under-20s in the Green Machine. Zach Wolford already warming up on the sideline, and the head coach has arrived, Mr. Ricky Stewart. Another penalty here.
Way too slow.
11, you're spinning. Straight up.
Billy, you've got to get out of there with that.
Well, they've got to be really good with their discipline, and they haven't been as yet. The Manly Seagulls, something they're going to have to change. You piggyback a side full of confidence like the Raiders downfield, and there is only going to be one result, and that's points.
Yeah, you need the possession. There's no doubt about that for the Seagulls, which they've got now. So that's a bit of a change for them.
Wow. Nasty turnover from the Raiders. Just their third opportunity with the footy, the Eagles. They'll get to the end of it, kick deep. Just try and get back into the game set for set. Tavita Funa. Centre coming in to assist his bigger men centre field. They've done a heap of work so far, guys like this one, Amoni Tafui. Oh, he's a lump of a lad and only just now dragged to the ground, but well inside the 30-metre line. Fanu plays to Hines. Came this side earlier and the ball movement really crisp, really fresh. Here is Tom Wright on the final play. Wright grubbers through. Weighted just about perfectly, and the referees say no. Oh, Fanu. He thought he had points.
It's good, something different.
On the line, 10,
I
hold.
said it before, it's not always going to go to script, but that's the way they've got to play the Manly boys today. Just try and mix it up a little bit.
Up 10!
Oh, that is as close as you get. As close as you'd want to get as we look in the replay box.
Oh.
Stay square. Go, one.
I'll back the refs here.
No bunker.
No bunker, no video, no in goal.
Hold square. Go.
Two guys calling it the runner play. When it's that close, I'm more than happy to back them. They're in the best position of all. As a result, a 7-tackle set here for the Green Machine. Spander comes wide to Kotrick, who is driven to the ground. A really strong tackle. It was by Harlan Collins. Playing through to Will Samuels, who thought about the offload there. Last play, back to Spander. Through to Kotrick, well weighted this one. Nope. Same result as the other end of the park. And a 7-tackle set, this time to the home side.
He held his nerve there right, which was really good.
Yeah.
Good fullback play, and it wasn't too far off Kotrick. He's a talent.
Up 14! Up square.
It's great watching Ricky Stewart down here interact with one of his younger players, and you can see that at the Raiders, they've got a really good club culture, and I'm sure it starts at the top there with Ricky.
Playing towards halfway, out to the right-hand side of the field, through the hands of Nico Hines it goes. Did well to hold on to that, Jaden Hocking. Fanu. Oh, a ball out in front for Tafui. Handled it well and is looking for the offload, and that tackle thankfully didn't go nasty, because it certainly looked like it could have at any stage. Sebastian Crisp being tested on the far side of the field, and Lucas Price is called to go back. He was called as held on the last play now for the Eagles. They come across field through Hines. Well taken at the back by Jack Hickson. He sprints back to the 20. Tries to catch the Eagles on the back foot. Not the case.
Up, Billy!
And that Eagles defensive line did well to regroup and reset there.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that you'd want a stat of too many back-to-back 7-tackle sets, and that's a repeat offender there, giving the team another 7-tackle set. So the middles of the Manly boys will be feeling the pinch at the minute.
Oh, Kotrick losing his footing because he had wound up there. He was ready to launch himself in. And curiously, they come to the right-hand side of the field where Nick Kotrick should have been, but he had just played the ball. This is now Toot on the left-hand side of the field.
Good, all good.
Kicking through. Only third tackle. Going to back themselves here defensively, the Green Machine. A little premature, the kick.
Yeah, I don't think the wingers were calling the tackle count out there, Andy. Wingers have got one job. Come on, call the tackles out. But, yeah, that happens in first grade a lot as well. Some players don't concentrate. When that 7 tackle set does come, they kick it always early.
Trying to muscle him over the sideline. That was never going to be the case. Tavita Funa, a real show of strength there against the numbers. Good run from Billy Bainbridge. Skipper today. Fanu. Looking to get the ball free. Does it. Goes to the deck and is picked up by Jaden Tarrant. Runs into a tackle of 3. He gets the ball loose. It was a nice pass to Hines, who was back involved again. They come out to Harlan Collins. They are looking very good, the Eagles, when they play to the fringes. Last tackle, what can they produce here? Going short side, and the ball was forward. The last pass. It cost them. It may have been the low percentage play. Certainly looked good up until that final pass.
In a way, that was high percentage because you didn't give the team another chance to have a 7 tackle set. So there's nothing wrong with running it on the last. Back your defence out of the corner and go from there.
Hold, go.
A couple of really close calls for the home side.
I think they showed how you should play that set there. A couple of nice offloads. The only problem is with the Eagles boys is they're not supporting the ball carrier. I think they need to push up a lot more around that ball.
8 from 9 completed sets after 16 minutes for the Raiders. Geez, they've had a lot of the football. Only 4 points to show for it. Solid tackle from Tafui. It was on Jared Toot. 16, big Emre Gula. Former Rabbitoh on the field. He's a big, powerful unit, this one. No choice. No choice but to blow the whistle there, the refs.
Ball didn't clear the ruck.
That is a 3-0 penalty count. I love the enthusiasm. I love the Billy Bainbridge and the way he plays, but he'd love to have that decision over again. He's put a bit of pressure on his mob here. Span to the ball way in front. Oh, and the Raiders have spilt it again. Again until the final pass. It looked fluent. Straight through and gone.
Funa.
Tavita Funa. Who can catch him? The Raiders there en masse. 3 or 4 around the ball, and they look wide to Lucas Price. He goes from dummy half. Out to the wing, still going, and that is a try to Luke Pacelli. Whoa, an amazing 45 seconds of footy. The Raiders, great field position, sustained pressure, another poor turnover, and Manly have gone almost the full length of the field.
Funa just didn't have any support. There's a lot of green jerseys running back and getting involved in the play, but just didn't have any Manly Seagulls jerseys there. So lucky that they did score in the next play. So that relieves a bit of pressure, and honestly, they probably do deserve a try. Yep. So well done to the Manly boys.
Could have been nice and close to the sideline here. We will check that out on this replay, but Lucas Price to Luke Pacelli. Around a young man that you coached at state level last year in Sebastian Christani.
Yeah, Sebastian was on the wing there for the under-16s last year, which we went down to the Queensland boys in a tight contest. But it's amazing to think that how close these guys are. You know, last year they were playing 16s, and all of a sudden they're up in the NYC. So the progression rate and the pathway's there for him, and they just got to train hard and put his head down, and I'm sure we'll see him up in first grade pretty soon.
Difficult kick here. Nico Hines is a long kicker of the football, and as a result, he's minimised the angle by taking the ball back. The best part, I don't know, maybe 26 and a half, 27 metres. I mean, it is a long, long way to the posts.
He has got a big kick. I think he's kicked the most 40-20s in the whole NYC competition. So he backs his ability with his range. Oh,
he's done it with ease. In terms of distance anyway. Still that angle. We're going to have to talk about that. 4-4 the scoreline here at Brookie after almost a quarter of the game. And had of the Raiders scored in either of those last two sets, could have got the feeling that they could have gone on with this really early against a deflated Eagles outfit.
Possession rate is 57% to the Canberra Raiders and obviously 43% to the Manly boys. So it's starting to swing a little bit now.
First time in 5 games, Manly have scored inside the opening 20. And interestingly enough, as a result of that last try, Zach Wolford in 9 on the field and involved in that tackle, but again, another offload for the Eagles. Just not wrapping up the football, the Raiders.
Stripped out, boys. Stripped out.
Penalty here, Logan Spander. The man penalised in the tackle along with Jack Williams on this right-hand side.
All he's trying to do is lock the footy up and use his levers. That's the great part of our game.
Here's the 15 for the Eagles, Josh Martin. Power in that run. Over the top and through Hines they go. Eddie Wolf has been good in the opening exchanges. It was him playing the ball back to Farnu and Hines. Question mark perhaps over that pass. Ball free into the hands of the Raiders. One-on-one strip.
Penalty was offside. It was touched by Canberra.
Touched by Canberra. Picked up by an offside player.
Okay, we were coming back anyway.
Yeah.
We were coming back anyway. Not quite sure what happened there. Touched by the Raiders, and then a player in an offside position.
Go yours, mate.
Play on is the call. Manly
60.
back into this on the back of 2 penalties. Hines to Wolf. Wrestling for every metre.
There's an opportunity for the right side of the Seagulls here if they want to get it out.
Locking him in.
All of a sudden, the penalty count now 3-all. So 3 back-to-back penalties in the space of just 2 minutes for the Seagulls. They can't take the quick penalty here. Quick tap, the restart inside the 10. Happy to take their time and figure out what they're trying to do here. They go to Tarrant.
Give room 11. Hold square. Go.
Interchange player Martin at first receiver. Out to Nico Hines. A little further to Lucas Price. And back they come. The 2 wingers, Price and Porcelli, on the right side of the field. The 2 centres, will name centres, both this side of the field. Good ball. Play on. And out the Canberra Raiders. They've been lucky again. They may well have been the more dominant side for the opening 22 minutes. But again, luck has been with the Raiders. Manly denied.
Well, they had a couple of shifts there, Manly Seagulls, and the dummy half, Farnu, needs to get that ball off the deck as quick as he can. It's just a little bit slow getting out there in between the hands. So hopefully he can get that off the deck and get a nice pass off.
Going straight through. He's a quick one. This one, Harry Van Dartel. Support with him. Steps nicely. Looks, dummies, accelerates and scores.
He's your favourite, Andy Van Dartel.
My man, Harry Van Dartel. He's been fullback in the absence of Thomas Cronin. Cronin's back. He's been thrown onto the wing. And he came in to help out his forwards and his middlemen here. Look at the acceleration, but it's not just the acceleration, it's the decision-making.
Just chopped back on the inside shoulder of one of those Manly Seagulls forwards, way back down there on the 10-metre line, and just over chase number 15 for the Seagulls. And this is a nice little bit of footwork and set-up play there.
Oh,
wow.
That last step was an absolute belter.
He was going left all day.
Very good try to Harry Van Dartel. Talk about pivotal points in the game. There was nothing on there. The Raiders were under pressure from repeated penalties and indiscretions, repeated sets on their line. They were just looking to work it out and kick deep. Van Dartel spotted an opening.
You can see the Seagulls are about to make a couple of changes in their middle. They've worked pretty hard, the middle boys of the Seagulls. They're starting, the possession rate starting to turn a little bit now, and it's nearly even. So, yeah, time to get some new guys out there.
Zach Wolford with an easy one. And over it goes. 10 points to 4. Just checked in with the Fox Sports Lab. Round 13, these two sides met. 38-14 it was to the Canberra Raiders. And my man Harry Van Dartel scored 2 tries in that clash down in the national capital. Oh, a big kick close to the sideline. Over and back to halfway we come.
Where you going, Cass?
Yeah.
Penalty right in the middle. Canberra actually made that look a whole lot harder than what it could have been.
Yeah, you only have to stand on the line, obviously, out and just touch the ball. So I don't know if many kids would know that rule, but every now and then it is good to go back to the rule books and see what's around.
Hold.
I think you'll find there's a reasonable breeze behind the Seagulls in this opening 40 minutes, just judging from the way some of those kicks are being assisted downfield. Great run from Sione Afamui. Playing to the right side of the Eagles where they have targeted repeatedly. And Jack Murchie, he collects his second. Oh, huge change in this game in the last 3 minutes alone.
Yeah, the old here we go again. Headspace maybe for the Manly boys after that that penalty on halfway. So he's a real player, Williams. Hits a really good line. You can see he tries hard in every asset of the game, along with Murchie as well. So Murchie's a kid that's someone that's in for a big career. You can see already.
Yeah.
Their back rowers, you know, they're really good players.
Good players and like they're prototype back rowers coming through the junior systems. They're 6 foot-ish in the old language. They're, you know, 103 kilos already at 19 years of age. They're powerful. They've got good acceleration. The way defensive rugby league is in the top grade in this era, that back row position is just becoming so vital that you've got to have more than just one asset. And these kids have got plenty.
All on display there. He's he hasn't had to do too much defensive work, but the way they've got to defend, they've got to check, get off defend on the leads, and they've got to push on inside pressure. So they've got to have a good turn of speed and leg speed in defence as well. So it's a really important position these days, the back row. And
no good there from Zach Wolford.
There's none better. Just popped through our office there. Andy was the great Steve Menzies. Just popped in, and has he got a statue? What's he got around here? Anything?
Hey, the stand at the southern end, the Fulton Menzies stand.
Okay. How good was the Beaver?
Oh, one of the greats. There it is, the Fulton Menzies stand after 2 of the greats, Bozo and Beaver.
Let's go, 17-12, get square. Darcy, square up.
Restart here, just short of the half-hour mark. And with the majority of the ball, a little bit of dominance, just comes that mindset that you're unstoppable, and that's what the Raiders all of a sudden look like at 14-4.
Talk about completing your sets with the ball. And you also talk about completing your sets in defence. So
Coming through, mate.
that would be a very minimal percentage at the moment, the Seagulls. They need to get through their sets and be pretty clean.
Strong from Williams. Just giving Murchie on the left-hand side a wrap. What about that run for the back rower as the half-spander crosses the field, looking for a runner. He finds the runner in Fabian Gula, and another penalty. 9 penalties in 29 minutes of football, and they've gone in threes. 3 to the Raiders, 3 to the Eagles, and now 3 back to the Raiders. No coincidence, that's the way the scoring has gone as well. Zach Wolford, a dummy half. Plays it back on the inside. Tackled well there was Jack Williams. Wide to Logan Spander. Short. Trying to get through is Fabian Keary. Sebastian Chris over the line, wrestling with 3 and held up.
4. Headgear. Tackle 4.
So back 10 we come.
4.
Harry Van Dartel on his outside there. Oh, on cue, Harry. Doing it again. Very different to his last try. Still get 4 points for it. Now that is a beauty. That's some real eyes-up footy. Look at this from Wolford. They had a metre to work in there, at best.
That's enough for the good hookers. So he's just had a really good bit of sell and deception there, young Zach. So I'm sure I've got a 5-year-old, 6-year-old myself. I know what it's like. You're out in the backyard doing a bit of footy with him, and I'm sure his dad, Simon, has been out in the backyard with him over the years. So, yeah, that you sort of rock onto your right, and then you just pop back on your left. The best exponent of that at the moment is probably Mick Ennis, and anyone he'll be playing tonight on Fox Sports, so against the Roosters. But the way they conduct themselves in and around their ruck is just so important for your team.
I said they had a metre to play with there. Measurements might be a little out. Let's make it 2 metres. It was really good footy nonetheless. Mentioned Mick Ennis tonight for the Sharks against the Roosters. And, of course, before that, it is the Gold Coast Titans and the Penrith Panthers. What a crucial clash in the makeup of the top 8 that is. But it all starts here at 3 p.m. with the Manly Seagulls and the Canberra Raiders. Zach Wolford misses from wide. Scoreline remains 18 points to 4. 14 unanswered points to Canberra. On the back of field possession, and 3 penalties.
The blue shirt of the Manly Seagulls probably got a message from Chad Randall regarding the penalties. You know, just get this set out, be nice and clean, and get a bit of good kick pressure, and hopefully we can get the ball back.
Better kick off there from the Eagles. And then when the ball stays in play, you end up with a man mountain like Fabian Keary launching himself back into you. Big Fabes injured in that tackle from Billy Bainbridge.
Definitely got some footwork and big guys in the middle, Canberra, which will maybe put him in good stead for September. That's the way you've got to play the footy in the next couple of weeks.
Calling to hold it for Sione Afamui. He wanted to throw the ball. And through. Numbers. And try eventually. Good stuff from the Canberra Raiders. They've strangled the Manly Warringah Seagulls in terms of time with the football. And this is the result. Straight through. Thomas Cronin had Zeke Foster off his left hip. You mentioned, Danny, after 3 or 4 minutes of footy, that the Raiders fancy their left-hand side chances against Manly's right-hand side. Not that I ever doubted you, but you've just given us a really good insight into how elite-level guys can read a game, because they have just hammered them constantly.
Well, Wolford's come on, and like I was saying before, that the way he's conducting himself around the ruck, he got out and put that nice little play. And you see a lot of teams do that in the modern day game, is try and put that guy back through the inside. But the hooker has to do his role first, and that's engage the first marker. And the guy at the first marker, he should have just felt back and not been engaged. And that's how that play works. So he has made a big difference in 10 minutes, he's young Zach Wolford. Hasn't even broken a sweat either, Andy.
No. Eddie Wolf coming from the field as Zach Wolford adds the extras. Scoreline blowout. It's the most first half points the Green Machine has scored this year with 24. And delighted to be on Fox Sports in a Green Machine jersey on the hill.
Time to run.
There is quite a few green jerseys up here, considering we are maroon and white territory.
What's your favourite Raiders jersey, Andy?
I think it'd be going back to...
89?
Yeah, probably 89.
Woodgers?
Yes.
Yes.
It's hard to get that football team out of anyone's mind. Anyone that grew up and was privileged enough to watch that Green Machine first grade side of the late 80s, early 90s. I mean...
Another level.
Yep, absolutely another level. Not a chance of assembling something like that today because of a salary cap. They would have been on about 14 million a year in today's standards.
I feel like they've got their own Mel Meninga at the moment, though, in BJ Lalia.
Yeah.
Sure.
Keep it in. All good.
As Canberra go downfield, hoping it's well weighted. It's perfectly weighted. Trying to get out and can't.
Did he just kick that left foot? Zach Wolford, Andy? Beautifully weighted kick. I'm sure he's not left-footed.
Some very special attendees for Jamie Lyons' farewell today. The godfather of the Sea Eagles, Mr. Ken Arthurson, has arrived in town and is here to watch along with Peter Peters in the house. And it is great to see Ken here and looking as well as he does.
What do you want to do, Zach?
A wonderful rugby league man, Ken Arthurson.
Here. Just hold line.
He's done a lot for our game,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
hasn't he? And still with a smile on his face, back at Brookie. They will chair him out of this joint to the Harbord Hilton tonight. I'll probably be there. Here is Van Dartel already with 2 tries. Back to Sebastian Chris, to Zeke Foster. Looks for a little bit of assistance. Driven to the ground here. A good tackle. Manly in 4, getting numbers around the footy. But this Raiders backline looks deep and well set to the right-hand side. However, Zeke Foster thought he spotted something. Ran into a wall. Running through the wall is Sione Afamui, and there's another try.
Ball was down first. Ball was down first, then you held him up.
Ref's on the spot. Ball was down first, then you held him up. I can understand a little bit of frustration from the Sea Eagles. But arguing with a referee, I've never seen one of them change their mind. Oh, you be the judge.
Back-to-back sets on the back of the really nice kick from Wolford, and a nice little try assist from him there. So
Does the ball get down here, Danny?
blade of grass. It's hard to say that that did not get down, Andy, but I've been in those tackles before when you've been like one of those Manly players there, and you do think the ball's a long way off the ground, but it's hard to tell.
Again, they don't have slow motion replays. They don't have the assistance of the bunker. I'm going to run with the officials once again. They do a wonderful job. Not just only in rugby league and top-level rugby league, officials in any sport. Not going to go on a sermon of any type here because no one listens to me anyway, but gee, I think as a rugby league community, we are far too focused on official issues and decisions and negativity surrounding referees or bunkers than we are celebrating and enjoying the many positives our game provides us each and every week. The Raiders, 30 points to 4 in the shadows of half-time. There's a little breeze swings through Brookvale. Certainly warmer than any conditions Canberra would have played in at home the last couple of weeks. Emre Gula, 16. Followed up by the try scorer, Sione Afamui. Brett White's intention was to rest Zach Wolford, give him limited time. and give Bailey Hartwig, importantly, more time on the football field. With the injection of Zach Wolford, nothing against Bailey, has just taken this Canberra side to the next level.
I think you'll see a bit more of Bailey soon. His work might be done soon.
I'll hold this scrum, mate. I'm going to...
Young Zach Wolford, get him through to the 20 minutes to go in the game. I think he'd probably give another rest.
Would have expected perhaps maybe another question to the Manly Seagulls defence in the last 30 seconds before half-time, but Canberra took the conservative option, put the ball into touch.
Stay down.
Yeah, even in the air, put the ball in the air. We haven't seen too many go up high at the minute.
There it is, the siren sounds at Fortress Brookvale, the Canberra 20s smashing through that Fortress wall at half-time. It is the Green Machine 30, the Sea Eagles 4. Underway in the second half of the Holden Cup. It is the Canberra Raiders, 6 tries to 1, 30 points to 4 leaders at half-time. They get a penalty on the first play of the second half. And we think that is Manly's first touch of the football in 16 minutes of time on footy.
Because they had to, off the kick-off.
Yeah, they had no choice.
Hold. Go.
Into Canberra Raiders territory. Eliar Fatui. This is the power of Amoni Tafui. Out to the left-hand side through Nico Hines, pointing Josh Martin to head back into the ditch area just behind the ruck, and inside the 30 they go. Tremaine Brown in 14 to Hines. A good shot put on Billy Bainbridge on this right-hand side, and the skipper is upended. Brown and Fatui attracting the attention of 3. Last tackle, no serious questions asked of the Raiders' defence. Go to Hines. He goes for the wing, and knock on here from the Raiders.
Canberra.
A double knock on called Canberra
Second.
first, so Manly scrum fee.
Just had a look at Murchie's defence. That tackle that you said was a great tackle, Andy, was Murchie. That's what you want. You want your winger attacking the footy, but unlucky not to get the ball in possession there. This is a luxury for Manly, Andy. A bit of ball.
Yeah, right into the park too.
Hold. Hold.
Certainly a heap of pressure on Jack Hickson with that right elbow very heavily strapped. As Manly play out to the right. This is Tom Wright.
Up, Zach! All over his face. No, you're right. It's, mate, go back. It was inside the 10.
For everyone out there, you're not allowed to have quick taps inside the 10.
I was enjoying listening to the refs argue and commentate over that. Tremaine Brown thought he jumped on something there. Not the case. Not Luke Douglas-like from a couple of weeks ago for the Titans.
Centimetres, that one, Andy.
Yep. Hines plays short to Darcy Cox. Been a mainstay in this 20 side for the Eagles. Nico Hines. A little wider as Farnu. Back on the inside. A Manly try to open the second half. And it is Tavita Funa, the try scorer. Late in the week, no, he is not going to be brought on as a token for the last 5 minutes of the game. There are tens of thousands of Jamie Lyon masks being handed out to the crowd here.
Where do you rate Jamie Lyon, Andy, in the centres that have played our game?
Yeah, no, very, very high. The course of the afternoon. He's a big Jamie Lyon fan, the local boy.
Time to run!
Ball back into the hands of the Raiders. Gee, they haven't had much luck, much success from the restarts today, the Eagles. That is a huge blue after scoring the opening try the second half. Fabian Keary. Back to Zach Wolford, to Logan Spander. Big test here for the Eagles. Raiders are set left and deep. Stepping back in to the busy section of the defensive field. Didn't work there for Zeke Foster, and he's lost the ball.
That's a win for Manly.
Yeah, huge win.
Defending too many sets of late cleanly, so without a penalty or a try, so take a bit of confidence out of that.
Yeah, you'd like that again.
Still got that weapon out there in Kotrick, mate, that probably haven't got in the game enough. Been going out to this side in Murchie.
Make sure we hold. Hold.
It's in. Out! It's gone blindside. You got...
Moved to half, the best part of it, Whānau. Nico Hines playing probably a more 6 role, a 5/8 role. It's with the addition of Tremaine Brown. 14 at dummy half, that's Brown with the ball now. Whānau. Through the hands they go, and the hands with Nico Hines. Ball still available here, not put down, but Tom Wright finally is. He's been good today, this big fella. Moni Tafui. Look at the power. Just saying, you're not going to stop me. I'm not going down, not without a fight anyway. With the hands of Nico Hines. Good to Bainbridge. He sets sails. That's Manly's second for this second half. It looked gone, it looked dead. At half-time, 2 quick tries. Canberra on the rack.
It's amazing what can be said at half-time, and Brett White's speech would have been a little bit different to Chatty Randall. So the desperation, I guess, that Chad probably was talking about was, you know, this is to start you on the show for the Jamie Lyon farewell day, and we don't want a good 50 point or 60 points put on us. So start the day well, and they definitely come out in this second half and give themselves a good shot.
You'll appreciate this from right in front to get the gap back to 14, so still a whole heap of work. Heap of work for the Eagles. Heap of work too for the Raiders. They need a big improvement. Nico Hines instrumental and just moving a little wider onto that left side of the field predominantly. Wearing 7, playing 6.
Brown would be asking to be catch this ball in the full. He's got Tafui and also Whanua ready to take it. They're going to go the other side.
Manly now with the confidence, launching into Fui. 4 Raiders there to meet and greet, slam him to the ground. Big Amoni really battling after that run.
He's worked hard.
He certainly has, getting close to the sideline. Bainbridge, the try scorer. A little bit of attitude defensively from Canberra here. Not that it's an excuse, but you can see their reasoning coming out into the second half and thinking, we're up by 26 already. This is just going to happen for us.
Well, if you're a fighter, you've just got a couple on your chin.
Yes.
That's what's happened. So might snap them back into that attitude they did have for that first 40.
Darcy Cox. Back to Brown. To Nico Hines, and up he goes. Oh, and you could hear him blow up centre field. That was not the kick he wanted. There's Van Dartel. Ball loose.
And it's stripped 9.
And stripped. Oh, that is a huge call. A massive call, a late one from the refs. We'll back them again. But on the back of 2 tries. Oh.
It compounded the error there. Let's just say that kick was an error from Hines, and all of a sudden the penalty's on the back of that. So it's disappointing for Manly. They're starting to get back into the game.
Wilford a dummy half. Foster travels across field. 50 minutes gone, 30 remain early in the count here as Raiders come to this left-hand side. Thomas Cronin at the back has worked himself nicely into this game. Sebastian Chris fires it to Zeke Foster. Logan Spander involved. Afamui, the last try scorer for the visitors. The boys have got the fist cocked in back play. While that's going on, Canberra's worried about scoring points.
Yes, mate. It's all right.
And it's not over yet.
Haven't awarded the try.
Let's go, Canberra. We haven't awarded the try.
Canberra should be thinking and talking about, we've got a final to play in the next couple of weeks. Don't want anything stupid.
Yeah, hasn't.
Um,
Hasn't held on to him. Okay.
I think there might be a penalty
Mate,
against
do
the
not talk
Raiders
to me.
here. No try? No, we've got a try.
We do have a try. Nick Kotrick.
Bit of a brouhaha under there. He moves well, Kotrick.
It was these 2 big units. Hands are cocked, ready to go. No one actually throws one. And while that was going on, Nick Kotrick back against the grain. Beat 1. Squeezed through 2 and 3. A good try to Nick. As we said, pre-game. Re-signed by the Raiders. Was just involved in the Australian Schoolboys Championships and representing Australia. So missed a few games for the Raiders. He's got BJ Leilua and Jason Croker in front of him and in form. However, I'd be stunned if Nick Kotrick at some stage, probably towards the mid-back end of next year, doesn't get a little look in at first grade. He is a very rare talent.
Signing kids when your first grade team is going really well becomes very easy because everyone wants to emulate what's happening up there in the top grade, and I'm sure he aspires to play like they've got so much attack out there on their right edge and left edge of the Raiders. So some real good some models ahead of him, and I'm sure they'll help him out.
Big restart for the Eagles. Canberra working it out. They've shown a real willingness to work for one another, and they've been successful from their backfield today. That little push and shove and get together, the other end of the park 90 seconds ago, that'll lift everyone on the field. It increases the power and motivation in which you run and how you want to use your shoulder in defence as well.
You can go back to that kick, which is a shame from Hines. It went up and then the penalty and then the try. So it's funny when you pinpoint turning points of games.
On the last tackle, played just over halfway. Keep it in hand. Oh, I thought that was forward. I think so too did some of the Manly players, judging by our on-field commentary there.
Up now! All the way. Hang on, mate.
Nervous moment at the back there for Tom Wright.
Have not seen this for a long time.
Yeah.
The touch judge coming in.
Touch is on.
How good's this? flag up?
Zach, just that way. Come in.
Mate, number 12.
Yep.
Over there, screams out to me from the field.
Yep.
That was forward, you fucking dickhead. Then over here, you're an absolute dickhead.
All right. Okay. Come here.
Well, you've got to be correct in your statement.
Billy.
Haven't seen that or heard that for a
Billy,
long time.
not any of us on this field are going to tolerate for that from him. He can go sit down for 10.
Okay, this is the pass in question. Forward or not, you simply can't talk to an official like that. And as a result, 10 minutes in the bin for Darcy Cox.
Well, has there been a brief in the last few days, Andy, regarding the treatment of officials leading into the semis, which I think I read somewhere? So if that is the case, let's stick to it. And now we have probably seen a bit of that last night. Cam Smith got March 10, so that might be the flavour leading into September.
Hold. Hold.
I'd like to apologise for the explicit language used there. Live sport. It provides some wonderful moments, and those moments we'd also like to forget at times. Here is Sebastian Chris back on the inside, a try to the Canberra Raiders. Thomas Cronin is the scorer. It's a 12-man Manly side, and hopefully not an injury for the home side.
Nice bit of play by Chris. He's a big left edge centre, left-hand carry, left foot step, so they're very handy in your football team.
Yeah, very nice from Sebastian back on the inside to Thomas Cronin, returning to footy after a knee injury has kept him out for an extended period. Really good ball back on the inside after not only attracting his defender, but also the inside defender, which as a result opened up the hole for Tom. Saw him in a number of positions over the course of the last season and a half, 2 seasons. Fullback, centre, wing, very adaptable, fits in well.
It's good to be able to play a lot of positions at that age, because you probably haven't found your niche at that age, and you fall back and you start to understand how you want the ball delivered to you on a pass, or where you want to stand. And I'm sure in the next couple of years the coaches will say this is what we're going to see you as, and it's good to have that ability to play a lot of different positions.
42 points to 16, 25 minutes remain.
Billy. You've just got to keep your players.
Dominant performance in the last couple of minutes anyway from Canberra, because they were rocked in the opening 10 minutes of this second half when Manly went back to back, threw a little scare into the green machine. We said at the top of the game, Canberra wins here and the Holden Cup Final 8 is settled. They'll play finals footy, and 9th place Newcastle can't and won't.
Well, they would have had their captain's run today, the Newcastle Knights under 20s, thinking that hopefully the Manly boys could do a job on Canberra and keep the semi-final race alive. But as it stands, it's probably into the pre-season now. Get ready for next year.
Gee, that's desperate footy from the Canberra Raiders. Wasn't necessarily attractive footy. It was real desperate and quite talented. Over the top from Woolford. Oh, beautifully weighted. Just perfect from Zach Woolford. And the chase from Jack Hickson, exceptional.
I was talking about his dad before, but what about Josh Hodgson? I'm sure Josh Hodgson will be doing a lot of work with him in and around the club. Heard he's a really good club man, Josh.
I've got no doubt about that.
Finds himself back in the team today, and at number 9, it's been absolutely fantastic this year. And I read this week that he's in the top few players from our fans that they respect and think he's such a tremendous player.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a whole lot of talent. He's got enough strength to literally run through walls. Good pass either side, decision-making fabulous. Going to be a big boost for Canberra today. His return. Now through Foster. Gee, this is nice movement, keeping in mind Manly down to 12 players. Sebastian Chris adds his name to the try scorers list. We're going to rack up a score here, aren't they, the Canberra Raiders? Gee, that's nice footy.
Yeah, they're good ball sets that the Raiders do have. They've got a nice little bit of structure, and it's nice and easy to work out. Everyone seems to have their roles. So Brett White, obviously probably not an attacking player as when he had the boots on, but you know, he's got a nice couple of little structures around, and all their players know what they're doing, and well done by him.
What was that one, Bedsy?
Is he thinking that's how many tries he's going to get today? Or
It could be. I'm not big on the...
signs?
Yeah, the signs and the photos and the fingers and whatnot going on.
Just a stock standard.
Yeah.
Man, you are, aren't you?
I understand a photo of a good schooner and chicken palmy, and that's about the extent of it.
I thought you were going to say Chico roll.
That's entree. Wolford from the sideline takes it to the left-hand side. 46 points to 16. And the Canberra Raiders could very well be more than just nuisance value in the semi-finals, scraping in either 7th or 8th position. We saw the Warriors a couple of years ago win it from 8th. Oh, the restart. Another failed restart for the Eagles. What?
He's saying that broke the line. It didn't go over the line, but it broke the line in the air.
It doesn't have to go over the line on the ground. It has to break the plane of the line.
That's what's happened.
And I thought that was out by a metre or two. But it doesn't matter what I think. The refs have made the call. Play on Manly with the footy in hand. Trying to burrow his way through. Josh Martin has been a ball of energy since coming on. Nico Hines. Play out to Tom Wright. Trying to hold him up, then throw him into touch, and they do both. Lucas Price had nowhere to go. They're up by 30, 20 minutes to go. There's a really good example of the type of attitude that Brett White would be delighted with. Okay, here's the kickoff. Does it break the plane?
Wow. No one other than the official, the referee would have known that, but the touchies were nowhere to see that either. But yeah, that's the September defence and attitude you want, and I'm sure the boys know that they'll win the 8 after this match. And
Head in. Head right in.
we've got 19 minutes to go.
Hold. All right, 6, get it in. It's out. It's yours, mate. Thanks, mate.
Up 7!
Raiders defeated the Eels 28-12 last week in Canberra. They've won 6 of their last 8 and are likely to be paired with the Sharks, Tigers and Eels in the bottom half of the 8. And I think they're 3 games that the Raiders can win in that first week. Wolford over the top. Really trying to make the Manly defensive line go from side to side. Use up their energy with just 12, and the Seagulls very short here. If Canberra go right, very simply, they score. It's the last play here. To the right they go. Through. Chase is good. They don't score, they get the next best thing. They get a repeat set. The kick was a nice one.
Beautiful
Chase
kick.
was a nice one.
Beautiful kick by Spander. That's just the way he had the ball shape there. He gave his runners every chance to get around. See the ball come around, left to right, and just opens up the depth of that in goal. So it's a really nice kick. Practiced and practiced that kick, I'm sure, many a time.
Raiders aiming for a new record for this season anyway. They're yet to break the 50 mark in this season. Sitting on 46 with 17 to go, you'd back them in. William Samuel. Great shape on this side of the field, the Raiders. It's where they come through Zeke Foster. Again, takes the line himself when the back line's set nicely.
He likes to take him on, Foster.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Nothing wrong with that.
Wolford out of dummy half.
Oh.
Dummies, stops, passes back to the left-hand side to avoid a penalty there for obstruction. Back onto the field is Darcy Cox as his teammates do their thing. That was nice work from Luke Pacelli. Getting back into the field of play. So the Raiders' chase was an effective one. So 13 on 13 again. Here is Cox travelling across field. He loses the ball into the hands of Nick Kotrick. Kotrick heads for the line, bumps off one. Goes back to Jack Hickson. Rarely a game goes by where Hickson doesn't cross the line. And that trend is set to continue. Jack Hickson. Canberra's 10th try, their 50th point.
Bring your 7.
Obviously very tired. The last 10 minutes only playing with 12 men, but you really need your grip sorted. All those little basics when you're under the pump have to be spot on. And if you're running with the ball like that, you need your thumb gripping that ball. Otherwise it can pop out at any time, exactly like that.
There's Hickson just doing his thing. Nice and easy. Nice ball back on the inside from Kotrick. And the referee just talking to Nico Hines and also Billy Bainbridge. I think Nico may well have offered some advice to the referee that the referee didn't particularly think was valuable. Just gave him a little warning on the run that maybe the mouth at this point in time is better left closed.
You see the Manly Seagulls, they're spread all across the in-goal area. They're counting down the minutes for this game, but more importantly the season. I'm sure it's been a tough one for them, and like to gather their thoughts in the off season and press the restart button for the 2017 season.
A difficult year for the Eagles was always going to be, with a new coach and high player turnover. They've been slapped with injuries in the top grade.
Hey, let's go.
As a result, it does filter down at some stage into the 20s, and that's probably nowhere near what the Knights, your Knights, have faced this year.
They're all playing first grade, 20s.
Yeah, you've been forced to blood so many kids before the plan.
Yeah, look at Daniel Safidi, who's 19, and some of the best front rowers in the world. I wonder what they were doing at 19. I don't think they would have 25 games of first grade under their belt. So
Zach Wolford off the field.
Really good option by Coach White.
Yep. Yeah, keep him off. One of the other aspects about Zach is he's on 93 carryover points. And Brett White, the coach, knows what a competitor he is, knows he's fiery as well. It was, once the result was secure, protect him, make sure he plays finals footy, and also give Bailey Hartwig a little bit more game time, and Bailey is back on in 14.
Yeah, I wonder what's to achieve now for the Canberra Raiders. Number one would be just get through the game. But you don't want to think about that. You've got to go out there and just keep getting through your sets. Defend strong, work on your technique, attack and defense.
Is this next 12 minutes more about attitude than execution? I mean, you still want to be perfect with the ball and you don't want to miss tackles, but is it about attitude, playing smart footy, playing almost safe footy?
I guess you learn a little bit about your teammate and also about your players that you got in your team, and you hear awards handed out for players that never give up, and you like players to play to the 80th minute, so I'm sure that's no different for the Canberra Raiders team out here today.
Hines punches it over the top. The Manly chase is good. Raiders fumbling, and the Eagles with another set of 6. They may not need all tackles. Dragged to the ground, Harlan Collins just a couple metres out. And you could have seen that coming from a mile away. The Raiders just lying on the ball carrier.
The trend is obviously in the early parts of the tackles, and that's a really good penalty because your team will want to get back. So that was a good, smart penalty by the Raiders there. And then all of a sudden that happens and you get the ball back.
And what happened? Yep, just loose carry. No use looking up at the referee with the death stare or the puppy dog eyes saying it wasn't me.
Hold.
Loose possession.
Hold.
Manly looking to push in the scrum. Canberra still end up with the footy.
Hold. Hold. Go.
Raiders and West Tigers next Sunday. Two footy sides in the second part of the 8 in the under-20s. Could well be a dress rehearsal for week 1 of the finals. In fact, the Raiders and the Tigers. Awful ball from Canberra, turning over possession mid-count. Exactly what they didn't want. More defence here, and another penalty. Tremaine Brown looking for the quick restart, finds Darcy Cox. Looking to the left, playing to the right, and to Hines. Enjoyed what Tafui has produced today. To Vaiti. Simmons 16, back to Brown. And a ball into the crowd. Over-clubbed. And another let-off there for Canberra. We've been dominant. 52-16.
That was out, Andy. That was
just...
Yeah, well, Canberra will be taking that as a good win. No, they don't want any points scored on these next 9 minutes.
Just hold the weight. Head in, lock. Lock, head in, hold the weight. Oil 7. Out.
You can still hear the talk from the Eagles. They've been outclassed and outmuscled. However, their enthusiasm can't be questioned. They're having a crack.
Oh, they are.
They're just not in the same class.
At times, they've been their own worst enemy with just the errors and compounding errors. So they're willing. And every footballer who puts on a pair of boots in the NRL want to go out there and give its best performance. So it's all about pride.
Got an injury in back play, shoulder of one of the Eagles, and he has not moved. As a result, it's a 12-man defensive line. Canberra play to Kai Madden. Dummy half is Hartwig. Last play and wide. Tries on here. Too good. Harry Van Dartel with the hat-trick. Big day for Harry.
Having a man down at halfway didn't help. Defensive line was short.
He's had a tough day, hasn't he, Darcy Cox?
Definitely has.
And this looked on from the get-go. 2 early balls that basically cut out a defender. They made their own space.
A beautiful ball by Foster. He's shown us today his running game and how he likes to take the team on. But that's good. That's a nice little pass from him and cut out a lot of defenders with that nice out ball.
6 from 10 goal kicking so far today. I think Hartwig only had the 1 attempt early. It was unsuccessful. And he gets it from the sideline here, kicking into a breeze. But it's slowly picked up over the course of the afternoon. Left to right on your screen. Right it with him. Nah, off to the left-hand side, so the scoreline remains 56 points to 16. As we said, a difficult day for Darcy Cox. Was the right shoulder. It's him around the ankles. No, can't quite see anything there.
Yeah. The Raiders have completed 29 from their 34 sets, so that's a telling factor on the back of the 56 points that they've scored.
That one's gone the 10, and a good take from Tavita Funa, one of the three try scorers for the Eagles today. Main game kicks off at 3 o'clock. The Eagles on the back of 3 straight losses. The Raiders looking to make it 9 wins in a row. They've been playing not only good football, but good to watch football.
13, dangerous.
Yeah, Mick Crawley, who was at the Knights as a under-20s NYC coach, got the Coach of the Year, NYC, I think it was 2013, and he's down there running their attack, and I just love watching the Raiders play. They support the ball carrier, and there'll be no different out there this afternoon.
Oh, it's back on the inside. Nice ball movement from the Eagles, and Luke Pacelli been one of their best today. You can't always say that about the wingers, but Luke has been he's been full on for them today. Right, plays short, and that was another one that they've bombed at the final moment.
Well done to young Wright, because before he threw that pass, which I'm sure he would have loved to have had back, the one that went well out, but he decided to play short then, which is most of the time that's the good option, and just got let down by his teammate there. That was an open try line.
Gee, it's a big day of footy this Super Saturday when you look at the lineups, the Raiders and the Eagles, the Titans and the Panthers, Sharks, Roosters, and of course the Challenge Cup final tonight.
Big night for the Sharks for mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into September, you need some momentum, and they have to start tonight.
The Roosters fans very confident going into tonight's battle with the Sharks. And of course, with the Challenge Cup on live, coverage starts at 11:30. Good opportunity, boys, to
Chrissy Sandow.
butter up the bride for the next couple of hours. Make sure you make a nice dinner.
Yeah, the Australians involved. Chris Sandow.
Yep.
Ashton Sims, Kurt Gidley. Over at Hull, you got there's a lot of guys there. Frankie Pritchard.
Yeah, big Frankie.
Gareth Ellis.
Always a little Aussie flavour, or normally an Aussie flavour.
Gareth obviously not Australian, but has been out here for a few years.
Oh, we'll claim him. Loved his time at the Tigers. Hines goes over the top, an easy take at the back for Tommy Cronin. Yeah, looking forward to that. Oh, drop from Canberra. This has turned really ugly. The last couple of minutes from both sides, in particular from the Raiders, who lead by 40. Hines, good ball on. Trying to stop John Tui Vaiti. He was crawling his way to the line, and there's a reward for Amoni Tafui.
Absolutely deserved one, Andy.
Yeah, doesn't he, the big unit?
Done well.
Yeah, this was poor from Canberra. Not having a crack at them, or big Emre Gula, who dropped the ball there. Brett White, the coach, will be filthy at that. Really good work from Amoni Tafui, and thoroughly deserved. He's a big kid, isn't he? And they are kids. They are. They've got the focus of clubs and sponsors and talent scouts and the pressure of managers and fans and expectation. They are elite level footballers, anyone that can get to this level. Not all of them are going to get on to play NRL and have long and successful careers, but to just reach this level and to give them a little bit of a direction at an early age and a little bit of focus, I think they're all superstars.
Just been watching that Jack Murchie, and he'll love the phrase. I've spoken about him a bit today. He's got a really good frame. It reminds me a little bit of, he played on Thursday night up at for North Queensland. Cohen Hess has just got that leg speed and that real ability to break tackles. And they're two names that you can, I'm sure, see in the future. Jack Murchie and Cohen Hess.
Yep, I don't disagree. Cohen Hess only just turned 20 a couple of weeks ago. And we had the pleasure of watching him in both under-20s and also Queensland Cup over the last couple of years. And I don't know at this stage if we're going to see Cohen Hess back in Queensland Cup or under-20s. I think he's there to stay. Very talented footballer. This young bloke's a talented footballer. Nico Hines had to work hard today and gets to Hickson. Back on the inside. Last 9 seconds. Bailey Hartwig surveying where his ball players are, what his options are, and he says, you know what, we've had enough. Siren sounds, 11 tries to 4. The Canberra Raiders, 56, have defeated the Manly Sea Eagles, 22.